the heart of the African savanna, where life and death intertwine in relentless cycles, there exists a sight so grim it seizes the curious and stubborn alike. Before us stands a magnificent buffalo, its massive frame a testament to endurance, yet its body tells a darker tale, pocked and riddled with a horrific honeycomb wound. Imagine a vast honeycomb, not of golden sweetness, but of raw, festering flesh. Each cavity a crypt teeming with decay and malice. This wound is not a mere injury, but a gruesome fortress for parasites, a slave colony of vile organisms exploiting the buffalo's very flesh. It is a living nightmare, a biological horror story etched into the hide of one of nature's most formidable beings. This gruesome spectacle is in fact a crude artistry of parasitic infestation, where maggots, larvae, and various tiny creatures have burrowed beneath the skin, feeding on the buffalo's muscle and blood, evading the wrath of its immune system. These parasites are not just freeloaders. They are insidious architects of deterioration, drilling into the host. In the icy expanse of the Arctic, where the sun barely pierces the perpetual twilight, a chilling tale unfolds, a tale of survival, suffering, and the grotesque realities of nature. Meet the polar bear, a majestic creature often seen as the embodiment of strength and resilience. But today, we encounter a bear that tells a different story, one that is both horrifying and fascinating. This bear, once a symbol of the frozen wilderness, now bears a horrific snake wound, a gruesome reminder of the dark underbelly of life in the wild. As we zoom in on its massive paw, we see the gaping, festering wound, a grotesque sight that reveals the shocking truth. This bear is infested with snakes. Yes, you heard that right. Snakes? Imagine the horror of a creature so powerful, so revered, being brought low by such an unexpected foe. The snakes, likely seeking warmth and shelter, have burrowed into the bear's flesh, creating a grotesque symbiosis that is as fascinating as it is repulsive. These serpents, with their cold, slithering bodies, have made a home in the bear's wounds, feeding on the soft tissue and leaving behind a trail of decay. The bear, in its agony, becomes a living host, a canvas for nature's most macabre artistry. The sight is enough to make even the most hardened observer recoil in disgust. Yet it serves as a stark reminder of the brutal realities of survival in the wild. Then, as we delve deeper into this unsettling phenomenon, we must confront the unsettling truth about the balance of nature. The snake infestation is not merely a freak occurrence. In the dense, shadowed corners of the wilderness, where life and death often intertwine in grim, unexpected forms, an unsettling tableau unfolds. An elephant, ancient and vast in its power, now grotesquely marred by a horrific infestation. The creature's thick, wrinkled skin, once impenetrable armor against nature's many threats, is now a festering canvas where millions of slithering snakes have taken hold. This is no typical predator-prey encounter. It's a dark and harrowing display of biological horror, a living tapestry of decay, an invasion that compels a mixture of fascination and revulsion. The elephant, a titan of the savanna, suffers from a condition far stranger and more sinister than common infections or predators. Snake infestation, an almost surreal phenomenon, has descended upon its body like a living plague. The skin wounds, gaping and oozing, are nests of writhing serpents, small but venomous, their scales glistening with a slick sheen dampened by the elephant's own blood and sweat. These snakes exploit every crevice and cavity, burrowing deep beneath the thick hides in search of tender flesh and festering tissue. The elephant, unable to flee or crush this overwhelming multitude beneath its mighty feet, is trapped in a slow, agonizing torment. Scientists have documented such cases rarely, and the explanation lies partly in the damaged health of the elephant, partly in environmental changes causing desperate creatures to beneath the shimmering glare of the African sun. Amidst the golden grasses and tangled acacias lies a spectacle that confronts the raw and unforgiving realities of the wild. Here, a creature both regal and rare captures our gaze. The white lion, once a symbol of purity and mythical grandeur in the animal kingdom, this majestic beast is now marred by grotesque affliction. Before us is a lion etched in alabaster fur, but marred by an ugly spectacle, a wound that festers, hosting a teeming army of insects whose relentless infestation reveals nature in its most brutal and unsparing form. This wound, an open gateway into the living flesh of the lion, is a macabre theater where countless insects swarm in devouring waves. Flies hover with insistent whines, drawn by the scent of decay, laying eggs that hatch into writhing maggots, drilling deep into the flesh. These larvae consume the dying cells, burrow through tissue, and multiply with an efficiency that is at once repulsive and fascinating. The lion's white fur, once a pristine cloak, becomes matted with grime, blood, and the viscous secretions of infection, while the stench of rot mingles with the dry earth and swirling dust. The infestation is not merely a consequence of physical injury, but an intricate interaction between host and parasite, played out in excruciating detail. Insects act as both scavengers and predators, exploiting the lion's vulnerability. Biting flies pierce the skin repeatedly, serving as vectors for bacteria and pathogens that exacerbate the madness of infection. Ticks embed themselves, clinging with relentless hunger, injecting anticoagulants that prolong bleeding and sap strength. Each insect contributes to an escalating cycle of decay and consumption that erodes the lion's vitality inch by agonizing inch. The white lion's plight embodies an ancient biological narrative. Parasitism and survival are locked in brutal balance. Every twitch of the lion's flesh invites another assault, and every fly that lands adds momentum to a grim cascade of physical. In the vast sun-baked sands, where survival is a test written in grit and desperation, there lurks a grotesque reality hidden beneath the majestic silhouette of a camel, an ancient beast renowned for its endurance. Imagine a once proud hump, a reservoir of life-sustaining fat now transformed into a horror show, a honeycomb wound, festering and oozing, a grotesque landscape of cavities fleshed with decay, and the sinister presence of countless invisible invaders. This wound is no mere injury, it is a gateway, a sludge pit where parasites multiply with ravenous hunger. Beneath the leafy canopy of the tropical jungle, a lone monkey clutches the gnarled branch of an ancient tree, its fur matted and stained, a stark canvas marked by an infestation that defies simple description. This is no ordinary wound, a grotesque mosaic of decay and invasion, a living testament to the brutal reality of parasitic existence. The monkey's hide is pierced, swollen and oozing, a battleground where insect forces wage ceaseless war upon weakened flesh. The viewer's curiosity is drawn irresistibly to this macabre spectacle, a visceral reminder that life in the wild teeters on a thin line between survival and entropy. The wound presents as a festering crater, rimmed with inflamed tissue and studded with hundreds, perhaps thousands, of tiny, writhing insects. These are not mere bites. They are the living embodiment of nature's more sinister cycles. Infestation evolved to a horrific perfection. The insects burrow into the soft skin, forming complex networks of tunnels and chambers beneath the surface, protected by the thickened stab-like crust that forms an unnatural shield. Each insect, pale and translucent, flourishes in the sulphurous warmth of decayed flesh, feeding on blood and tissue with relentless precision. Around the wound, maggots squirm in claustrophobic clusters, their slick, segmented bodies glistening under stray sunbeams that slip through the tree canopy. This infestation is a dark symphony of biological survival, where the infected monkey becomes both host and battlefield. The insect species involved